All right, guys. So the pro-life conservative movement has picked up a W. Okay, picked up a W as Texas passed a new abortion law back in the spring. Okay, that the Supreme Court has basically decided to let go into effect. Right, a heartbeat bill that basically bans abortions after 6 weeks. Well, kind of. It basically makes it so abortion providers and people that help aid and abet or facilitate abortions, it makes it so private citizens are allowed to sue abortion providers or those who aid and abet or assist in somebody getting an abortion. So that basically gives a very, very, very heavy financial incentive for people not to either perform abortions or help facilitate them. Okay, effectively making it illegal after a heartbeat is detected. Right now, this is one of the first of its kind heartbeat bills to be passed by a GOP legislator, and the Supreme Court declined to hear a challenge to this law late last night by I guess what you would call them pro-choice groups, right? In opposition to this. Okay, they didn't want to hear it, right? Which is, again, kind of what the point of having a conservative majority in the Supreme Court is, right? It's for this type of stuff. Now, this could possibly pave the way for repealing and reversing Roe v. Wade, right? That is the hope from a lot of people in the conservative movement, that this is going to pave the way for repealing that law, which basically allow abortion without excessive government restriction, right? That's basically what it did. So let's read more about this law and what it means, because there is a hell of a lot of politics here at play, guys. And you guys know me, I love getting into the nuances of politics, because there's some things going on with the Supreme Court. And Cori Bush, our favorite progressive, she's probably becoming my favorite after AOC. That's a joke in terms of using the word favorite, but she has something that's very, very, very stupid to say about this law. So let's read here. With the Supreme Court mom, a new law went into effect in Texas that bans abortions after about 6 weeks of pregnancy. That's well before many women even know they are pregnant. The law allows private citizens to sue abortion providers and anyone who helps a woman obtain an abortion, including those who give a woman the ride to a clinic or provide financial assistance to obtain an abortion. Private citizens who bring these suits don't need to show any connection to those they are suing. Okay, so I want you guys to understand what this law actually means, okay? Basically, what it means is that, if I know somebody, or if I see somebody, I've had evidence of somebody helping facilitate abortion or providing an abortion to somebody that's more than 6 weeks pregnant, I can sue that person, okay? It basically sets up for lack of a better term, a whistleblower system for those receiving an abortion after 6 weeks. That's what it does, okay? Now, listen, here's my thing about abortions, right? Obviously, as a conservative, I'm against abortions, okay? I'm against it. I think that life begins at conception, and I think that it is wrong to, as humans, take away that life just because it hasn't been born into the world yet, okay? Because in my opinion, it's not just a potential life, it's something that could potentially be born, but it is a life. Now, I do understand that, in some cases, when it comes to miscarriage and stuff like that, nature happens. But that's nature. That's not humans, right? That's not human interference, okay? So, hey, listen, that's my opinion on it. I'm just against it. I think it's morally wrong. And I also don't understand how so-called pro-choice people can call themselves pro-choice, right? Because the only person that has a choice is the woman, right? The life in her belly does not have a choice, right? That nobody's asking that baby whether or not they want to be born. And in my opinion, this justifies banning it because the baby cannot consent. But with that being said, I am pro-contraceptive, right? I am pro-condoms and pro-birth control. The reason why is because I'm a practical person, right? I don't try to pretend that I live in a world that does not exist. people are going to have sex. Okay, they're gonna have sex, right? And a product of people having sex is that women are gonna get pregnant, and there are people who get pregnant and have kids that should not be having kids, and that leads to negative externalities for our society, right? That is a bill that the rest of us taxpayers have to pick up when people who shouldn't have kids are having kids. People who are not financially ready, or from a maturity standpoint aren't ready, or stability standpoint aren't ready. When they're not ready to have kids and they have kids anyways because they made a mistake, right? That's an issue. That is a bill that the rest of society has to pick up, whether that's through, again, social services, whether that's through welfare, whether that's through crime and poverty, okay? All these things are negative externalities of people having kids out of wedlock and when they are not ready to have them, okay? Now, I do understand there are a lot of conservatives out there that are against contraceptives as well. I get it. But in my opinion, my just humble opinion, I just feel like my solution is practical, okay? I feel like it's practical. It considers actual human nature, not what I want human nature to be, right? But that's just me. That's just my opinion. So in my ideal world, abortions are banned, right? They're just banned, okay? If you're pregnant, then it's banned, right? However, there is very easy access to contraceptives. Now, I would not be pushing that on teenagers, of course, right? I wouldn't necessarily allow teenagers to have access to birth control, okay? But if you're an adult, if you're over the age of 18, then I think you should have relatively easy access to it. Just, again, from a practical standpoint. I get it. Contraceptives are not 100%. There are situations where contraceptives don't work or they fail. And in situations like that, you just got to deal with the consequences, right? You just got to have the kid, okay? Because there are consequences to having sex, right? There are consequences to having sex. Even if you use contraceptives, a woman can still get pregnant. And if they do get pregnant, even after using contraceptives, even if they want to, hey, you got to deal with the consequences of your actions, right? I feel like this is a perfect solution. I really do. If you guys haven't noticed, I try very hard to reconcile my conservative moral beliefs with my libertarian leanings about freedom and less government, right? I try to do both, okay? I try to combine the best of both worlds. So this law makes no exceptions for cases involving rape or incest. Here's why the law is one of the strictest abortion laws in the country. What does the Texas law prohibit? It bans abortion as soon as cardiac activity is detectable. That's around 6 weeks, which is before a lot of people know they're pregnant. Other states have tried to do this, but those laws have been challenged by abortion rights groups and blocked by federal courts again and again. Groups who have opposed abortion rights have pushed for this Texas law. How does this law differ from other states' efforts? Groups who oppose abortion rights have pushed for this Texas law, hoping that it will be harder for federal courts to knock it down. Instead of requiring public officials to enforce the law, this law allows individuals to bring civil lawsuits against abortion providers or anyone else found to aid or abet illegal abortions. This law empowers individuals to enforce an abortion ban. How would that work in practice? Anyone who successfully sues an abortion provider under this law could be awarded at least $10,000. And to prepare for that, Texas Right to Life has set up what it calls a whistleblower website where people can submit anonymous tips about anyone they believe to be violating the law. Quote, these lawsuits are not against the women, says John Segal with Texas Right to Life. Quote, the lawsuits would be against the individuals making money off the abortion industry itself. So this is not spy on your neighbor and see if they're having an abortion. In a federal lawsuit challenging this, a coalition of abortion providers and reproductive rights groups said the law places a boundary on people who provide or aid abortions, inviting random strangers to sue them. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, it essentially empowers private citizens to go after abortion providers and those who facilitate abortions, right? After 6 weeks, right? After the heartbeat is detected. So that's essentially the gist of it. And, you know, again, this is groundbreaking because it's not the federal government really using the power of the state to enforce it. It's really just giving private citizens the right to enforce it, right? Through being able to sue abortion providers, right? Basically bankrupting them. Now, that doesn't mean that abortion providers can't do it. They can, but they might be sued. There's a risk if they do it. What does this law mean for patients and abortion providers? Dr. Bhavik Kumar, a family medicine doctor who works for Planned Parenthood in Houston, says the law creating a lot of uncertainty for patients and providers, but Kumar insists he will comply. The ban, though, will likely mean a lot of questions from patients about how they can get an abortion outside of Texas, Kumar said. Quote, I know there are many people who don't have the ability to make it out of the state. The logistics and ability to do so is not an option for them, he said. So I'm really concerned about what's going to happen to people. Dr. Ghazaleh Mayende, a OBGYN, told NPR over the weekend that patients are apprehensive. They understand that the abortion that they're having this week, last week, the week before is something that they wouldn't be able to have next week. They've been asking about it and asking, if I were here in September, how would I be able to get this? So, yeah, I mean, basically, again, for abortion providers, it means that a lot of out-of-state clinics are probably going to get more business, right? A lot of people are going to be saying, you know what? We're going to go out of state to get this to the more liberal states, right? Those that can afford to do so. And those that are in Texas are going to say, I don't know if this is worth the risk. Okay. So, I mean, that's just what it is at this point. So basically, if other federal courts allow this law to stand, basically, it means that other conservative states are going to probably move to pass similar laws. Okay. They're going to move to pass similar laws. Now, a lot of people, liberals, are basically watching the Supreme Court because of this now, right? A lot of people are saying, Stephen Breyer, what are you doing, right? Who is the senior most liberal judge on the court, right? They're calling his name because this guy is in his 80s, right? And they're saying you need to retire because we see that these conservative judges here are actually being conservative, okay? And not really trying to do anything about this, right? They feel like Roe v. Wade is potentially on the chopping block, okay? So there's going to be a lot of pressure for him to retire so Biden can nominate somebody while they still have a majority in the Senate and while he's still president, right? So you can see a lot of that. Also, what you're going to see, like I told you guys before, when it came to reinstating Trump's stay in Mexico policy and the eviction moratorium ban, right? You're going to see people saying, we need to pack the court, right? We got to pack the court because these conservative justices are out of control, right? That's what they're going to be saying. So again, I wouldn't be more surprised to hear more calls for packing the court. Now, also I want to talk about here is Cori Bush, right? As she tweeted in response to this, that she's thinking about the black, brown, low-income, queer, and young folks in Texas. The folks this abortion health care bill will disproportionately harm. Wealthy white folks will have the means to access abortion care. Our communities won't. First of all, elephant in the room. How does this affect queer people? Right? How are queer people affected by an abortion ban? Somebody tells me how that works, right? I'm not sure if I follow the logic here, okay? Second of all, isn't Cori Bush supposed to be, quote unquote, pro-black, right? She's supposed to be so pro-black. She's supposed to be for the people. So if you're so pro-black, then why are you so pro-abortion? I don't understand, right? Because essentially, abortions do disproportionately affect black women. On a national level, 36% of all abortions are performed by black women, when black women are just 13% of the female population, right? Also, on top of that, in New York City, there were more abortions than actual births, right? More babies were aborted than babies born among black people, right? Births outweigh abortions in any other demographic group except black people in New York City, right? And if you're for black people, you probably should not be for population control, right? You should probably be for women having more kids, right? Black women having more children, right? That's what you should be for if you're so-called pro-black. But see, in a situation like this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. when these people say they're pro-black, what they really mean is that they're pro-democrat, they're pro-progressive. That's not the same as pro-black. Because if you was pro-black, you would say, I'm against abortion because I want more black women to have children, right? I want to make sure that the black population stays healthy, okay? That's what you would say. You would also say, I am for a strong family, a strong nuclear family. But she supports Black Lives Matter, so she's not for that either, right? She's not for not having kids out of wedlock. She's not for personal responsibility. She's for the government literally trying to fix everybody's situation because they made a bad mistake, right? So if you have a kid out of wedlock, okay, and you can't afford to take care of it, no, government comes in, hey, you can get an abortion, right? If you don't take school seriously, you don't want to work, you don't want to get a job, she's for the government taking care of them, right? She's against having police in the black community, right? She wants less police, and she's for more gun control. So that means she wants less protection for black folks. So somebody name me a policy that is pro-black from Cori Bush, because I can't think of one, right? I can't think of one. She's for black population control. She's not for protecting black people, and she's for keeping black people tied down and dependent on the government. Somebody tell me how this is pro-black. I don't understand, okay? I don't understand. Seems to me like all her policies are detrimental to the black community. I'm just saying. But I just found it funny how she tweeted this. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.